You know, Pumi has incredible generosity of spirit. I think you can hear it coming out in her remarks. So I just want to underscore the first thing she said, but I want to play bad cop, and she can be my good cop, to address the maths teacher. There's no convenient time to rape women. It's always inconvenient. So there can't be a convenient time for activism. So there wasn't a grammatical pause to make you applaud for me. I've been very unpopular yesterday and today with my male listeners on the radio program. But it is very weird to me that people can think that there has to be a time and a place to discuss sexual violence. But when we attack girls and women as men, we don't think about that. All we think is about exertion of our power. So I do feel very strongly about that. I'm going to take 5 more comments. I know there are many more hands. Then I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. And then invite you just to have some snacks, and those who can to stay on and engage one another. But just to keep it all nice and tight, I'll take 5 more responses. My apologies if I forget who I already acknowledged. The lady in the front.
Hello, my name is Lebo, and I have a lot of questions, but I am also very generous and fair. So I'm going to ask one, and it's directed to you, Cheryl. It's an unfair question, but we have to ask unfair questions. And I'm thinking of 1956, and I'm thinking of those 20,000 plus women who confronted Straydom. And I'm thinking that the oldest and the biggest political or liberation movement in this country is the ANC. And I'm sitting here in 2016 and wondering, why is it that the ANC women, or rather the ANC Women's League, never ever had a strong feminist voice, such that today we don't deal with women who do not even know what the word patriarchy is, women who think that feminism is about opposing men and hating God. And I'm saying this because I have a small constituency on Facebook of about 16,000 people. And I do call it, it is kind of a constituency. Those people love me and I love them. And one of the things that I push and I advocate for is feminism. The word that I heard today, and I always battle with it because it's sort of new and I'm embarrassed about it. And I was listening to your show this morning, CBS, intersectionality. The thing is, I know what it is because I live it, but I didn't have the word for it. The same way that I knew from age 8 that I'm a feminist, but I had no word for it. So back to your question, why is it that the ANC women and the ANC Women's League never ever formed a strong, formidable feminist voice in a deeply, deeply patriarchal ANC? And I did vote for ANC like you, so we have something in common, because I have a mental illness.
Thank you. And then over there.
Hi, my name is Ndombi Machoba. I am a veteran of the struggle. You can disagree with me, it's cool. I want to touch on something that Mpumi mentioned, which is becoming a problem for our young people. The 2 very important dates, June 16 and today. June 16 has become about song and dance. So has today. And I am feeling that what should be happening is dialogues with young people, for young people to understand what this day was about, what June 16 was about. It wasn't just about going to dance and wearing hot pants, etc. I'm not saying people shouldn't wear them. Don't get me wrong, and mini skirts. But we need to go deeper. I've just realized that we have a ministry of women. I don't know what it does, I want to appeal to the panel, and in fact, anybody in this room who knows what they actually do. Because I am as certain as a heart attack that 85% of homes in this country are single parent, mostly women-led homes. Therefore, what does this ministry do for these single parent-headed homes and even children-headed homes? Because we have that ministry. And it is that ministry that even today was, maybe they have arranged some song and dance somewhere, but I'm not aware, that should have spearheaded a dialogue for young women to say, your great-grandmothers had your parents on their backs and marched to confront injustice for you to be at Aurora School today. Young people need to understand what makes them who they are today. You know, I often get invited sometimes to speak at schools on Human Rights Day to make, you know, to try and make kids understand that what actually happened on the 21st of March. You know, as Comrade Steve Schotte used to say, it's not about going to Sandton Mall. It's a public holiday, I'm gonna go shopping. You know, it's about finding more as to what happened, what drove our grandmothers to march to Pretoria and to confront the apartheid regime. I said today in my Facebook that I hope next year, when we celebrate this day, we are going to be able to say we have traveled along the Zambezi River and across. We have managed to go and confront child marriages. You know, everything that is about women in the continent, in Africa, you know, so that we are able to be proud to say this is the foundation that was laid down, in fact, by all women of all color, of all creed, irrespective where they came from, the valleys or, you know, the mountain, the countryside. But on this day, they marched together hand in hand and confronted injustice. So I hope we're going to be able to, you know, have these dialogues. And I hope we're going to encourage young people to be curious, to want to know, and to say no to the Department of Arts and Culture. We do not want song and dance. We want to sit, we want people who can be able to take us somewhere in our thinking. We want to hear more. We don't want bashes, because there's nothing that we learn from that. I think I'm going to stop here. We talk too much. We like politics. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your intervention.
My name is Jackie, and I'm the archivist and researcher at the museum. And last year, we started a foundation at Aurora, and it's called Aurora Girls Alumni Foundation. And one of our aims is to go back to our school, because we started the school in 1979 as young girls. And I'm just proud to see my girls sitting here. And we have a difficulty of trying to access people who will mentor or help us mentor the girls. If I may call on Comrade Cheryl Corolas, I remember when I was still at consortium, I was very young, excited, and I was given a task to go and photograph her and take for shop steward. And I was excited, and I kept calling her. I couldn't get hold of her. Actually, so she was on the top floor. And the first thing that, she said to me when I called is that, how did you get my number? And I'm like, she's killing my excitement. Because I'm excited to get this powerful woman to come and be able to, rub shoulders with her as a young woman, a photographer who's into, history. But we find it difficult to access women who can help us to mentor the young women. Because we are a group of women who are just interested in our school because it's in dire need. The other day I went to the library. The library is like a storeroom. And this year, Aurora Girls has had about 3 suicides. Girls killing themselves. Is it 3 or 4? 3. 3 girls killed themselves. Young girls. No one knows what happened. But, it is, for us, it's killing us because we don't know where to start. And we're trying to find, there's a need. And we're trying to find people who can help us, help the young girl. And also, one of our things is that we started a foundation in the name of our previous principal, Nobulali, who was a teacher, and she became an inspector then. So with the foundation, we're trying to raise funds to encourage the girls to go to university. We don't have much, but we're taking from our own pockets. Every month, we have a fundraising event where we donate, and we, just like now, we try to donate girls, we try to donate dresses for the girls to go to a metric dance. The kids don't have money, and the parents cannot afford. But the thing is, they want to go. Out of 181 girls, only 20 are going to the metric dance. So how do we access, how do we find partnerships, or who do we go to for partnership to be able to help the young girl child? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
On June 16, I was on this panel, and my topic was women's complacency in gender inequality relationships. Today, I want to kind of change it up a bit and say women's complacency in societal issues mainly faced by women. My first question is to the panelists, because you are women in power and women at a higher level in society, what exactly are you doing to help children in high school and children in the later grades of primary school with the shortage of sanitary towels and with the shortage of basically giving them more information on their bodies, their self-worth, women empowerment, building their self-esteem, knowing themselves, knowing how to protect themselves. What exactly are you doing to help that? Because I should ask myself that same question, because I basically only came up with this idea now, I'm like, what are you actually doing in Sydney? And what are you, girls from Aurora High, what are you doing to help your fellow peers? What are you doing to help girls younger than you? What is your mindset on those type of things? You know what I'm saying? And to the rest of the women that are influential in this audience, I beg you, and I'm not just asking from for me, I'm asking for all the young women in this room and in South Africa, I beg you, please help us. Help us start this revolution. Help us build on something so important that we had to have a panel here today of influential people discussing this type of issue with us. Please, just, it doesn't have to be a huge contribution. Even if you just help one high school or one learner, at least put in the effort to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney.
Okay, hi everybody. My name's Kamla. I guess my question is mainly directed to Mpumi, but I suppose anybody could answer it. I just want to deal with this, like the issue of, so we use this term patriarchy, and people have brought up that we don't know what it means and what it entails. So for me, presumably, patriarchy involves maleness and femaleness, right? And like in this struggle, we've had to obviously include broader definitions of maleness and femaleness, and had to include society, like groups like the LGBTI community. And like when I find myself, when I'm having these conversations on feminists, particularly with males, what tends to happen is because of all these varied definitions, people start to exclude themselves. So it's like, okay, I understand that you have this problem with men or maleness, but I don't see maleness as that, so your problem isn't with me. And I just want to address that issue, like what terms do we use? And personally, I'm of the belief that I don't want to use terms that make you feel more comfortable. You need to ask yourself, what's making you feel uncomfortable? Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I'm intimidated by the beauty of your regalia, so your lobbying is going to pay off. But please restrict yourself to 1 minute.
My name is Mep Alisa. I'm a clinical psychologist in private practice and in other community issues. To the teacher, that rape is not about sex, it's about power. And most of rape survivors become silent victims. So I really want to applaud our 4 daughters who were able to make sure that Kwesi's voice is not silenced. And thank you to you, sir, for what you said about that rape does not wait for any opportunity or opportune time. It happens anywhere, and fighting it should be every time anyway. Second thing I said, Wade, I'd really like to, I hope this would be appropriate, to ask that maybe if we could start a database or a directorate of people who are professionals who are willing to help in mentoring, so that as schools come here and they have different needs, you could then introduce them to the people who would be relevant for their needs. Lastly, to my young daughter, Wanak, thank you for what you said. And you reminded me the words of Harriet Tubman, a woman who was a slave. And when she said, I freed 300 slaves, I would have freed more if only they knew they were slaves. Thank you.
Terry?
I'm willing to step up and assist the school in whatever way that I can.